Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites.
Hello, hello. Welcome to the Unearthing Games Podcast. I'm Jacob, and today I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Erica.
And I'm Nick.
And we dig games. So, how's everybody doing today?
This is different.
This is an odd setup. I'm not usually here. I'm usually at my own apartment in the comfort and the loneliness of my own home.
Halfway across
the state.
Yeah, and even me and Nick don't sit next to each other when we record. There's almost like a wall between us as we're recording
next
with
to each
the
other.
monitor.
We are as always separated by puppies. So,
But yeah, so how was everything this week for everybody? Mine was rather boring.
This was boring.
Yeah, I don't think I got around to playing many video games. I think we all played a little bit of Slay the Spire.
Yeah, we were all...
I played a little bit. You guys played a lot of it.
Yeah, we played a lot.
Well, we were doing, like, hot seat Slay the Spire. You know, it was like, you did a run, you lost, you passed the controller on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
We did some Enter the Gungeon, same style hot seat, but...
Yeah, really
not else happening.
Yeah, it's been a pretty, I guess, relaxed week. Like, I feel like it hasn't been busy, but we've been busy. Does that make any sense? Like, it seems like, I feel like we haven't done a lot, but we also haven't had a lot of free time.
Yeah.
If that makes any sort of sense. I don't know. But
it's hectic.
But
no. So I've been good, y'all been good.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Unearthing Games filled in front of a live studio audience.
In the studio audience, we mean our dogs, because there's no one else here.
Yeah, and honestly, I expect that halfway through they're going to take off running.
Yeah, probably.
But it'll be all right.
It'll be fine. We'll edit it in post.
But yeah, I mean, as far as stuff this week, I know we were saying that it's been pretty boring, but I mean, I think I was scouting out some new games. I finally went and redeemed all of my Jingle Jam codes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I also did that.
Got all those put in there.
Did I get some of those?
I did give you some of the Yogscast Jingle Jam codes because I may have already owned a few of them from Humble Bundle.
Hey, it's for a good cause.
It's for a good cause.
It is for a good cause,
and yeah.
right?
So, and then other than that, I know we've been scouting out some stuff. We're working on a group multiplayer content kind of deal.
Yeah.
So we've been scouting out some multiplayer games. So more to come on that. But
nice.
Other than that, though, I mean, it's been chill. We cooked in a cast iron skillet, and here we are.
Right. Well, all right. Well, then, without further ado, I guess we can get to the games we played this week. So, Erica.
Yes. So my game this week was Wilmot's Warehouse. On Steam, this is tagged as an indie simulation casual adventure puzzle game. And this is developed by Hollow Pawns, Richard Hogg, and published by Finji.
Oh yeah, Finji. I like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Wilmot's Warehouse. I don't really get the adventure tag for this.
Yeah, I watched you play it. I don't...
Yeah.
It really just depends on how you define an adventure, you know? Like, working your way through an entry-level position, you know, could that be an adventure? I don't know.
Yeah. So the premise of this game, to start off, is you are a little box man working... So the art for this is very, very simple. So you're a little box man working in a warehouse that it's all black. The floors and everything are black, and all the like pillars and stuff have white outlines, and that's pretty much it. And there's a window at the top of the screen where people will come and say, oh, I need 2 of these and 3 of these, and you have to go and find them in the warehouse and give them to them. And the way it starts is it starts out with, you know, welcome to the warehouse, this is your first day on the job, here are 4 different types of blocks. And so the people that come asking for blocks only ask for those 4 different types of blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty easy at first. And, you know, you kind of organize them based on your own system. In the tutorial, it gives you winter things. So it gives you, like, a snowflake and a penguin. And then it gives you hats. And so you sort them into winter and hats. And then it's like, okay, how about this one? And it gives you, like, a beanie. And it's like, ooh, is that a winter or is that a hat? Because technically it's both. And I was like, well, that's a hat because hat first, then winter. And it was like, well, that's interesting. You'll have fun, organizing your warehouse. And so there's so many different types of things. There's 200 different types of blocks you can store in this warehouse. And there's not enough space for every single item to have a specific location.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there is, but it's just finding the right way to organize it is the whole trick of the game.
Yeah, so we got to like 178 blocks. Different blocks, I think, is where we left off.
Yeah, that's where we're at so far.
So this game, too, also has a really good drop-in, drop-out co-op.
Yeah.
Because I was playing on my own, and then I was like, Nick, you need to play with me. And in the menu, all you do is you load that same file, and you just add a co-op. And he just pops in as another person, and it's a split-screen co-op thing.
Yeah. I was watching y'all play it. It is... I guess, well, I didn't come in when it was simple, and you had a few blocks. I came in when you had, like, the entire warehouse covered in just crap.
Yeah, we were probably already at, like, 110 items or 120 items by the time you came around.
Unlocked items.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We
unlocked 120 out of the 200.
Yeah.
Right, so you have multiple of the same items, so that's what you're
That's what I'm
alluding
referencing.
to.
Because y'all had stacks and stacks of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just remember the chaos that was y'all trying to figure out how to reorganize that madness.
Yeah, and so the way it goes is it's in sort of 3 phases. So the first phase is a shipment will come in, and you'll have like 2 minutes to take in that shipment and organize everything. Then you have the phase where, your coworkers come. We only found that later that they're your coworkers. But your coworkers come to the window and they're asking for products. So then you give them their products, and the faster you do it, the more stars you earn. And then there's certain orders that are worth stars, so you want to focus on those first, and then everyone else's. And then the third phase is after you go through the 2 minutes, stock and giving orders. Then it gives you a stock take phase, which you have unlimited time to organize, to do anything you want to in your warehouse. But it brings like a huge truckload of maybe like 3 different types of blocks, but there's like 20 of each of those 3 different types of blocks. So if you had a system set up and that whole slot where they're supposed to go is full, then you have to rethink your system because you suddenly have a lot more blocks that you need to fit there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was supposed to say, I think that's what I was referencing when y'all were trying to reorganize the entire thing, and y'all were in stock take, and y'all took hours.
Yeah,
y'all sat there for a long time.
Well, we left off at a segment where I think we had just unlocked like our 170th product or something.
Yeah,
and basically, it was at the point where just our current organizational system wasn't working.
Yeah,
was not operating.
And
properly.
so we basically spent probably half an hour arguing over what the right system should be.
Yeah, because I wanted it to be where each block had 1 or 2 stacks for themselves that were 9 blocks deep. And it turned out that wasn't going to work because there's just too many things. There's not enough space for all of that to be done. But yeah, so we were arguing about what was the best method, and I was like, do it this way. And Nick was like, that doesn't make sense, because there's sometimes that you only have 1 block of a certain type, and then it doesn't make sense to have a whole stack of 9 for that 1 block, because it's a waste of space.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest tricks that we were having trouble figuring out is that, the amount of inventory that you have fluctuates over time.
Yes.
So, when they first introduce, I don't know, vampire teeth, right? They might give you a shipment of 15, 20 vampire teeth.
Yeah.
But then over the course of time, you whittle that 20 down, and you might have they'll maintain you at about a stock of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you get it you'll have that 5, you make a cute little spot for your 5 vampire teeth to sit.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden you get a shipment of another 15 vampire teeth. Yeah. It's like, well, snap, I don't have room for 15 vampire teeth anymore. Now I got to move the toothpaste and the dentures and all the other stuff down.
Yeah.
So I got room for stuff, and it's like, well, what if there's nowhere to shift down to? The whole warehouse is full. Yeah. Where do I shift things to? And it's then we started arguing over, like, well, how big of a stack do things need to have?
Yeah, well, the good thing is that we kind of agreed on the classifications of stuff. So you said the vampire teeth, and then toothpaste and dentures. So we had a whole section.
All the dental stuff was all in one area.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, because what? We had... trying to think of our different sections.
I think the main ones were like shapes, which was a horrible section. Like, don't...
You'll have like
that
outdoors.
That was kind of a catch-all for anything that could be a shape.
Yeah.
You know, it was just anything. Like, there were stars, arrows, there
lines
were
and stripes.
Lines and stripes, and anything that wasn't something that could be quantified elsewhere.
As the other thing.
Well, then, because I remember you'll have like outdoors stuff, like or mountains and suns.
And tents and compasses and maps and stuff. Yeah. So that was like our outdoor section.
And then you'll had animals.
Yes, animals.
And then there were subsections in that one because it was like living animals, extinct animals.
Yeah, so I think when it started out, they had given me like T-Rexes and mammoths. And I was like, well, these are both extinct, and they're both animals, so I'll just put them together. Uh-huh. And then I got birds, and I was like, well, it's an animal, so I'll put it there. And then I keep calling them nautilus shells. What are they, actually?
Ammonites.
So then we got ammonites, and I was like, well, those will go next to the extinct things. And he's like, those aren't extinct. And I'm like, well, okay. To me, they are.
Ammonites are extinct.
Yeah.
Nautilus are alive and well, which ammonites are the predator.
That's a whole
I'll talk about geology later. But
yeah. So there was animals, then we had a whole food section.
Oh yeah. No, there were a plethora of sections, many.
And it's all up to you. It's just based on your organization methods and how you're going to find stuff easily. Because the whole purpose of the game is to organize stuff in a way that when people come to take orders, you can get to it quickly so that you can unlock different things.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so the stars that you get from fulfilling orders in a speedy process, they give you unlocks for certain things. The beginning, at least, the most helpful ones for us were when you start out, there's 6 big like pillars inside your warehouse that you can't put anything there. It's a huge pillar.
Yeah.
You have to like stack everything around it. So the first like 6... I think they all cost the same amount. It's like 25 stars. And it's to remove those pillars so that you have a whole bunch more space. So that was super helpful. Then there's things like you can carry more blocks. Because at first you can only carry like 8 boxes at a time. And if you carry any more than that, like it's literally a crawl. So if you're trying to fulfill more than one order at a time, it's difficult. So you can increase that all the way to 12. Then there's one where you just walk faster. There's a lot of different little upgrades that were super helpful.
Mm-hmm. Neat. Yeah. No, I can tell you as someone who works in a warehouse, there's never enough room for anything.
Yeah, but I doubt that they give you as much license as this game does to just put them where you
figure
want.
Out the organization of it. No. And also we aren't getting 200 something
different types
different things of stuff. Yeah. It's all just boxes. But
yeah. I know that there were, in the upgrade system, there was a couple of other interesting things that you could unlock. Like we unlocked a little helper robot named Borky.
Yes.
Yeah, Borky. Borky was this cute little robot that he was a little slow, but he was really helpful. Like basically, you would drop him off next to your shipments when they would come in, and he would like scan them to analyze what you got. And he basically would take that good, if you had that good somewhere else in your warehouse, he would take one at a time, take them there.
Yeah.
He wouldn't necessarily put them in exactly how you had them organized.
Or how you would want them. Like, he would just continue stacking them out and around, so it would kind of cover some blocks sometimes, the way he would do it.
So you'd have to go and kind of fix his organization, but he would save you some time as far as getting them from point A to B.
Yeah, especially, like, the 2 minutes to intake stock. It's not enough.
No, it's never enough time.
With the size of the warehouse and... where all the different things fit, it's not enough time. Because in the standard, just here's a shipment, like there's probably 10 different types of blocks that you get, and it's like one of these and 2 of those, and so you're running around everywhere trying to place them somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so having him there to like pull 1 or 2 and take it to where it needs to go is super helpful.
Yeah. And then other than Borky, I think we wasn't so helpful, but we unlocked a time-lapse one
Yes.
It was time-lapse footage of basically everything you've done in the warehouse from the beginning until now.
Yeah.
And it was pretty neat because it goes really quickly, and like it was neat to watch until we got to the very end where we watch us bickering over where things should go. And so that was a bit of a painful spot to watch. So there was that.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. And then the last item I can think of was the map. There was a specific map you could look at that would show like a zoomed out view of the whole warehouse.
Yeah, like
along with where the goods were in it. So if you kind of needed if you were having trouble visualizing, where is this everything in comparison to this?
Or even just how much space you had. Like, we used it a lot to see how much space we had open and, like, how much wasted space there was in some of our stacks.
Yeah, so...
I thought you were going to say the denim dungarees, which did absolutely nothing.
They
made
added
us
cute little
awesome.
suspenders to my square.
To your block person.
My square got cute little suspender buttons.
Nice.
So
I will say I did really like the minimalist art style.
Very minimalist. It was great.
It's hilariously minimalist. It's just a black background with a bunch of white lines and white and colorful blocks.
Yeah, the blocks are all colorful.
It was really nice. I thought it was neat. It probably wouldn't have been my kind of thing. I know you're all like, Jay, you should play Wilmot's Warehouse. You'd probably love it. I probably wouldn't have loved it.
Well, it's the kind of thing, like, I don't think... It's not my kind of game either. I think it's one of those ones that, like, it's Erica's cup of tea.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it playing it with her. You know, it's for me, it's a more fun with friends, while for you, it's a fun. Mm-hmm. You know, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because I was playing it on my own at the beginning, and it's just very relaxing. It's like, okay, I have this, I'm gonna take it over here, this looks like it belongs in this category. Oh, okay, now time to take orders, like, let's do it real quick.
It is a very relaxing game because there's not really, thinking about it, there's not really any consequence for being slow on the orders. Like, yeah, you don't get as many stars.
You don't clear stock out, probably.
I mean, they would...
Or do you still have to complete the orders?
I think you would still have to complete the orders. Unless you completely ran out of time, because there is a time limit for that, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, when I came, y'all were pretty Johnny on the spot with y'all's orders.
Quick, but, like, I feel like the game wouldn't necessarily punish you for being slow. It doesn't seem like it's that kind of game. Like, yes, it rewards you for being quick by getting more stars than you would have normally by completing the orders.
Yeah, I think it would just take longer to unlock the upgrades if you were slower, and which isn't that bad of a thing.
So it's very relaxed. So it's very relaxed, and it's kind of just a chill experience. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the point. Like, it's supposed to be a bit, it's like, hey, you work in the stockroom in the back, you know? You're not dealing with the hustle and bustle of the customers. You're not a salesperson. You get to just bring the stock out, you know?
Yeah, the one annoying thing was that after you would get so many blocks, it's like milestones, your boss would give you a poster. A motivational poster, and they were always very condescending. Like,
no,
they were.
No, they were. But like, I thought they were funny because they are what
funny.
I would expect to actually be hanging in a warehouse.
Yeah, but they
it's
weren't
like
very
things
motivational.
Reminding you to be, he called it motivational because he's the boss.
Yeah,
you know, and the boss is like, of course, this is a fantastic idea. I had it myself.
It was like, are you wearing the right shoes? And it had a picture of boots.
Yeah, but it was also safety tips.
Yeah.
Lift with your legs, not your back.
Yeah, but then there's one poster that you get where it's the employee of the month.
Oh,
ooh,
that was the worst. It's like, why would you hang that back here? Was it Becky, right?
Yes.
Or no, Kimberly.
Was it Kimberly?
I think it was Kimberly.
It was Kimberly.
And it was like, why is Kimberly employee of the month in my warehouse?
Yeah, and
she don't even work back here.
That's when we realized that the people that we were giving orders to were coworkers. Like, they're working the front of the store, and we're just working in the stockroom in the back. And it was like, I'm not going to give Kimberly her orders anymore. See if she's still employed of the month.
So it's just warehouse worker. Being a warehouse worker is a thankless job.
Yeah,
that's what this shows. You can be the best darn warehouse worker, and they'll still give it to the salespeople.
Yep.
Meh.
Oh, well.
Yeah. We didn't get to the end of it. I think we stopped at the 178
we'll
or
get
something.
There. We'll get there.
I really want to get to the end of
I'm
this.
confident that within the week. I mean, because it doesn't take long to do it.
Oh, no. Definitely not. You get
especially, like, yes, we will have a bit more discussion on how to organize the stuff, but yeah, we'll be done within the week.
Yeah.
But even then, I feel like once you're done, you could still just keep going. This seems like the kind of game that would go on in perpetuity. Like, I feel like it wouldn't have an end.
Yeah.
Like maybe it would give you that option where it's like, you've unlocked all the items, you can stop now or keep playing, you know?
Yeah, I could see it doing that. And then I also want to do the achievements because we were getting some here and there.
Oh yeah, it was like we put like a microphone, a guitar, and a saxophone and a musical note together, and it was like, bing, you put together a music section. It was like, huh. And then we had like 4 different types of bananas.
Oh yes.
There was like yellow bananas, slightly off yellow bananas,
yes.
Bananas that were half unpeeled, and then purple bananas.
Yeah.
And of course they're all food, so we stocked them in the food section, and they just happened to all be next to each other, and it was like
all bananas.
Yeah.
And it called us a banana collector, and I was like, well, thanks. You know, I mean, I never really thought of myself as an aficionado of bananas, but sure.
I'll take it.
So yeah, we got to hunt down what all the other. Like, we have to go and look at what the stock is and see like what other kind of ridiculous combinations can we put together.
Yeah, there was also like one corner that it was just like our catch-all where it was like, what is this thing? I don't know, just go put it over there.
Well, yeah, we had like UFOs
put that over there.
And like I think there was a pipe that was like dumping fluid out of it, and there was like a thing that we weren't sure if it was a microphone or an oven mitt or what.
Oh yeah.
And so he was up there. But you're right. I mean, it's kind of hard, especially when you're first going through and like you get a new type of thing and you have to make a new category.
Yeah.
And it's like,
What the hell?
where the heck do I make a new category?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've already got everything full. Guess we'll have to clear a column. You know. So,
Well,
but I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I don't think it's something I would play by myself, but
Yeah.
I will definitely help you complete this game.
So yeah, that was Wilmot's Warehouse, and that was again developed by Hollow Ponds and Richard Hogg, and then published by Finji.
Yeah, you can get the bad boy on like Xbox, I'm sure PlayStation, Steam.
Yeah.
well, I was about to say, y'all were playing it on Game Pass.
Yeah, we were playing.
Yeah,
on
we were
Xbox,
playing
so.
on Game Pass.
So,
Ton of fun.
all right. Nice, Erica. Sounds like a decent game.
Yes.
Fun little game.
Yeah, it's chill.
Stress-inducing. For me.
Stress-inducing.
Relaxing.
But, well, all right. So, Nick, what did you do? What did you get up to this week?
So this week, I'm branching out a little bit. We're not doing a rogue. I didn't do a roguelite this week. This week,
Oh my goodness.
what? This week I played this awesome little title called Shoppe Keep. I saw it. I think I had seen someone play this on YouTube a long time ago, and I was like, heck, I want to try this out. I like mercantile games, you know, like Merchant of the Sky, Moonlighter.
Yeah.
And of course, it's called Shoppe Keep, so
Right.
you can get that you run a shop. That's what you do. So on Steam, this guy's tags are simulation, indie, RPG, adventure, management. And so I could see that. I mean, again, I think the whole, like, how do you define an adventure?
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you define that? Because, like, I'd never left my shop. Like, I mean, I might walk out onto the street in front of it, you know, to pester adventurers that are walking by. But, and this was developed by Strange Fire and published by Excalibur Games.
Nice.
So, yeah. It's an interesting little title. It has a bit of a kind of like a low poly sort of art, like graphic style, you know? It kind of reminds me of how, like, games like used to look back when they first started doing 3D models. You know, think back to like Mario 64 and stuff like that. You know,
Okay, yeah.
like that's where like it's a 3D person, but like Mario 64, where you could tell it's a person, but maybe like I'm not. I guess in the old days it was because of technology limitations,
Yeah.
but now it's because like you know you didn't put as much effort into kind of like polishing the
finer details of
the
it.
finer tight details of the character. But like for this game, I get it. Like you don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Because, I mean, all you have to tell is that they're people.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know about these adventures. And so the whole premise is that you are a shopkeep for an adventuring store. So think like Skyrim, and you walk into the shop, and they've got potions and swords and armor, you know. Some may call this junk, but I call them treasures kind of thing, you know. You get it. And so you run the adventuring shop. You start off with like 100 gold and a small catalog of things you can order to have, and they like magically gets portaled into like the back room of your warehouse.
Yeah.
In your warehouse, which is like a small room with like one treasure chest. It's nothing like Wilmot's warehouse, you know, with tons of other things. I also didn't keep very much inventory at any one point because got to make money.
Right.
Yeah.
So it starts off where you have one little room, and you have a couple of pieces of furniture you can make. Like you can make a little table or little pedestals, and you put things on the table. And so the whole goal is, you know, you buy at one price, you try to sell it for more. So I start off, you don't have enough money to buy anything like cool, So you buy health potions, and they're like 10 gold a pop, and I would sell them for 15. And it is a very slow game, but I think that's kind of the point, because like the whole way it works is you play it in days, basically. You play one day at a time. And so it's like you have to open up and you like kind of sweep up your store and get everything cleaned up, and you stock all the goods on the shelf, and then you go to the front doors and it's like press F to open. And so you hit F and the door slides open and it's like day 7 beginning, you know. And you have a little countdown timer on the left corner that'll say like morning 5 minutes, you know. And so you have like the each day is 3 phases: morning, day, and evening. Yeah. And so what the goods that adventurers might demand will change throughout the different phases of the days. But then you just sit there and wait. You know, you bought your goods, they're on the shelf, and now you're like standing there like waiting for an adventurer to walk in, and they're all like when the day starts, like there's 3 different like doors that lead into the area. I guess like you're in town, and these are like the gates out into the wilderness where the adventures happen. You know,
yeah,
and you're just waiting. And streams of people will slowly start making their way in those doors, and more than half of them just walk right on by. They don't give a crap about your store. No. And then every so often, someone will stop, and they'll just walk right on in, and they walk right past me, and they walk up to the pedestal, and they pick up the potion, and they throw it in the air because I'm charging too much for it. And they walk right out.
So rude.
They walk right out of the store. So I had to mark down all my prices to like, I think I sold them for like 13 gold.
Oh,
13 gold a potion, I think, is what I was selling them for.
Yeah.
So naturally, it was slow going to make a profit. So that's how it starts. After a while, you get the option to expand your shop into different rooms. So because your catalog gets bigger, so you start getting where you've got more items. You can eventually order like weapons and armor, and you can unlock different classes of hero to come to your store. So you can get like in the beginning, it's all just fighters. Then you can unlock thieves, or not thieves, rogues. It's a different. We'll talk about thieves in a minute. You unlock rogues and wizards and druids, I think, are the 4 classes of people that come. And from what I understand, any of the classes can buy any of the items. It's just, you know, certain classes are more likely to buy certain things. So like you start off, the first armor type you can get is all leather armor. So like leather chest and boots and stuff. Yeah. Well, fighters and rogues would both buy that. But then you can get like steel boots and steel chest plate and stuff like that. Rogues won't buy it, but fighters will. And of course, wizards and druids won't buy any of that. You got to get like wizard's robes and stuff for them, you know? Yeah. And as it goes, the types of goods you get more and more complicated, get more and more expensive. And so you start making more money. You have to keep expanding your shop and reorganizing everything. And then eventually, I hit a point where I unlocked the ability to hire a champion for myself, for my shop. Like, I sponsor them, you know? They're my sponsored person. And so I give them goods from my shop and send them out on adventures. And they would bring me back, like, specialty goods. Like, I sent one guy, I paid for him to go on an expedition to the forest, and he brought back the Staff of the Forest King or something like that I could sell in the store.
Oh,
that
Lord.
I couldn't normally get, you know, from my orders. And so it was like, cool. And then my hero would have different stats. Like he levels up on the more adventures that he goes on. And of course, as you get better stock for your store, you can equip him with better stock or better things to take out. So I had my fighter, and he started out with like leather armor and all that, and eventually I had him like in dragon bone with a great sword and stuff like that. And basically, from what it seems like, I didn't get very far in the different tiers of adventures, but you have to pay for him to go. So sending him off into the forest would cost like 250 gold plus whatever I send him with. So naturally, I don't have to pay like for new armor every time. He keeps that. Yeah. But I would have to make sure I send him with healing potions and stuff every time he goes. That way he could heal himself, because when he comes back, it gives you a little play-by-play. And it'll be like, you know, so-and-so, your so-and-so fighter encountered traveling merchant. They battle, and it'll say like, you know,
why would you battle
fight your competition?
I don't know, but that was the very first thing that he encountered, and I was like, what? But then it's literally a play-by-play. It's like wandering merchant punches hero in the chest, 2 damage, hero punches traveling merchant in the face, 8 damage, and it goes back and forth, and basically it'll tell you how much damage he's taken. So if he gets knocked out before he completes the quest, he comes back with nothing. He loses all of his loot.
Yeah, because he got knocked out on the side of the road.
Yeah, 'cause he got
that
knocked
merchant
out.
took all the stuff and sold it.
I know, right? Could have been my staff of the Wizard King, but that traveling merchant ganked it.
Oh man.
So stuff like that happens. You gotta make sure you send him with potions, but also don't send him to too hard of places because he'll get knocked out and it's lost money.
Yeah.
He won't bring anything back. So I didn't get very far, but like the first expedition is 250 gold, and like some of the later ones were like 10,000 to send him on, and I was like, what kind of nonsense is he gonna bring back
From
that sort of adventure? You know,
it's like, well, yeah, you better be
Like,
getting
what
something
could
back
I
to be able
sell
to
that's worth
recoup your
'Cause-
expenses.
yeah, like the forest adventure was 250, and I think from what I saw, the staff of the Forest King, I think its price starts at 300. Is like the base price for it.
So you get it back in a little bit.
You get it back, and like of course, like you can always choose to mark things up. Like it gives you a little thing to say, do you want it to be, mark it up by 50%, 20%, however much you want to go up.
Do they only bring one thing back at a time?
No, they'll bring back a couple of different things, but it's from what it seems like, only one of the things they'll bring back is actually like a quality thing you would sell in the store. There was a whole other mechanic that I hadn't gotten to yet that it looks like there's a crafting system in the game where you could kind of craft unique items.
Interesting.
Because he would bring back like animal bones and goblin ears and pieces of meat. And I'm like, what do I do with it? Like, it's like a little T-bone steak, like a little dog toy T-bone steak that he brings back.
You eat it for dinner.
But I don't eat dinner. My guy doesn't sleep. I literally just hit the button to start a new day. So I got to keep playing at least to figure out how this crafting system works.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What about Thieves? I did watch you play.
Oh, yes.
I was watching you play, and you have to talk about your machines that
Yes.
that optimized the store.
Okay, so the first thing, we'll go into Thieves, right? Shoplifters, if you will. So basically, sometimes if you had better be paying attention, because sometimes if you're not paying attention, people will walk into your store like they're going to buy something, and they walk up to the shelf, and they grab the item and run. And they just try to bolt it, and you have to catch them before they get to one of the gates that leaves the town. Because then they get away with your item. Most of the time, they try to steal cheap stuff, like potions and things like that. Think of like a kid stealing candy at the grocery store checkout line. They grab the Snickers bar and run.
Except it's grown people.
Except it's grown people.
And they don't want to pay 12 gold for a health potion.
They didn't have the option to put a bucket over my head in Skyrim.
If they need the potion, they're obviously down on their luck. They don't have the money to buy it.
Or
they
they're cheap. Anyway.
If they're down on their luck, they can go and kill pigs in like the level 1 forest, all right, to get gold.
It's called the grind, Erica.
It's a grind. But so they would do that. Later on, they would get really bold and try to steal the expensive things. I had someone try to run away with like an engineering book, because I guess rogues like to buy engineering things. That's how they learn to make traps or disarm traps or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like a $300 book. So I was like, oh, heck no. So I shot him with a bolt of lightning. He didn't even make it out the store. But eventually, when your shop is bigger and you have a whole bunch of stuff, it's hard to keep track of all your stuff.
Yeah. Because you also have to keep the shelves stocked.
I have to keep things on the shelves because they'll start walking to my store. Like everybody enters the area wanting something. Like they have little like thought bubbles that pop up over their head, and it'll show like a steel helmet or a healing potion or whatever. And if what's in their thought bubble happens to be in my store, they come. If you stock it, they will come.
Yeah.
But if the shelves run out of goods, they turn around and start walking away. So I have to make sure that the goods are still on the shelf before they leave the city. So it's a bit of a mess. Right before I unlocked my champion, I did unlock a system that lets me build little steampunk drones. They're these little. It's like a little floating eyeball machine, right?
Ye old Amazon.
Yeah, ye old Amazon. I got my drone delivery service, and the drones have like 4 different functions that you can have, or 3 different functions that you can have them do. They default to what's called pickup mode, where if someone picks up an item and throws it on the floor because they're ticked off, it'll go pick it up. If a shoplifter, if I shoot a shoplifter and they die, it'll go pick up the item they were carrying. So there's that, right? And it takes it back to its little dock. And then I have to go empty the dock and put it somewhere. Think of it like a Roomba for my store. Then the other state was a restock mode. So I could dump goods into their dock, and it would go and, with a little bit of work, because I have to program where everything goes on the shelves. it would go and take those goods to where they go on the shelves. As long as they're in their dock, it'll go and restock us.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really I really loved that. And then the last item, which was my favorite one, I have to say,
this is fun.
was the anti-thief mode. So basically, it turns it into like a tower defense drone where he's just floating in the air looking for shoplifters. And so if a shoplifter passes by the drone, like within like so many feet, the drone just zaps him on the spot. Instant kill.
Yep.
And so that was my favorite. I set him up by the door, and so nobody could actually walk out the door with a good.
I just liked the nonchalance of, oh yeah, you know, Ragnar just got zapped. Just go sweep up the body.
Well, yeah, because you have to keep the store clean because that affects your store appeal.
Yeah.
I guess if someone wants a healing potion but your appeal is so low, they won't bother coming. I don't know. I didn't figure out the nuance behind store appeal. I just kept sweeping the floor because it would get muddy and it looked bad. But apparently, if you use the broom like 15 times on a dead body, it goes poof.
It just goes
it's a magic broom. I don't know.
But no, that was...
But then the heroes would also be... The adventurers that come in are also really nonchalant. Like, they watch this guy get zapped as they're walking in the store, and they're like, whatever. They just walk over his body and
well,
go...
he deserved it.
Serves him right.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. It's like the guy got caught. Sucks for you,
or they're
Joe.
or they're laughing at it. It's like, ha, couldn't afford a health potion. And walks past.
So yeah, and like it was really helpful because by that point I had like 4 different rooms for my store, and I'm constantly like just trying to make sure like I'm ordering goods, I'm ordering inventory and distributing it to the bots. I'm busy, and so that security bot, he would zap them all, and then the pickup bot would pick up all his stuff. So I'd come up to the front, there'd be like 4 bodies cooked on the floor. I'm like, guess we'll have to clean this up, and. Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in Shoppe Keep 2 they made a cleaning bot.
I know, I was going to say.
Oh, I really hope. I did.
It's like, what's the point of the Shoppe Keep?
I did buy the sequel. I haven't played it yet. I'm going to wait a little bit to try the sequel out. But I picked it up. It was on sale. So I was like, why would I not?
He also gave us a copy of that game.
Oh, because apparently...
I may have noticed that Shoppe Keep 2 is supposed to be online multiplayer. So
Lord.
if y'all want to come and be capitalists with
we'll
me...
be his robots.
Will I get a franchise?
No, partners. We'll split the profits.
Do I get a franchise? But
I think you do, actually, to
Lord.
the second one. I do think you build shops in other towns.
Wonderful.
So, but yeah, so that was Shoppe Keep. It was really simple, but I thought it was just really, if you like any sort of mercantile where you have to kind of increase and decrease your prices with like market demand and stuff like that, it's really fun. Very enjoyable, and plus it's got that cute sort of fantasy setting.
Yeah.
I liked it. So, Shoppe
Very
Keep.
kind of like a Majesty-esque setting.
Yeah, very much so. Like I said, it reminded me a lot of, like, imagine, like, you're in Whiterun in Skyrim.
And
know?
you're just putting the bucket over the dude's head.
Yeah, like, I'm the one that they're trying to put the bucket over my head, only they didn't count on me having laser shooting robots.
Nice.
You know?
Well, nice. So that was Shoppe Keep by... Who we got?
Shoppe Keep by Strange Fire.
That's just that? Strange Fire?
Strange Fire. Not Strange Fire Games, not Strange Fire Studios, just...
Strange Fire. Developer and publisher. Very nice.
Well, no. It was published by Excalibur Games.
Oh, that's important.
Well, it is important. But I said that.
You asked who it was by.
Oh, my bad.
You were like, just by Strange Fire? Just by Strange Fire?
Sweet.
By
Okay.
Strange Fire?
All right. Well, my question was answered then. All right.
So yeah. So that was Shoppe Keep. What'd you play, Jake?
Ooh, what did I play? So unlike you, I played roguelite.
Because they're amazing.
Because, yeah. The game I played was called Curse of the Dead Gods by Past Tech Games and published by Focus Interactive.
I've heard of Focus, yeah.
But Curse of the Dead Gods I thought was really neat. I thought it was really good. It's so the premise is you are a like an ancient explorer, like an explorer of the ancient world.
Okay.
And you stumble across, I'm guessing it's South American or something like that, because the entire art style is like that Aztec, blocky, angular creatures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's the entire art style.
Okay.
And I thought that was refreshing because, that's kind of unique. You don't really see that kind of art style.
Yeah, there's not a lot of games in that era or that follow that art style. A lot of it's like Egyptian or historical England type of games. Like it's hard, you don't see
Aztec or the ancient Central American world.
Right.
But it's so you're an explorer of the ancient world, and it starts out with this weird, like this cool storm outside of a cave, and you see the silhouette of a man, crawling up, and then he comes and he lights a torch and he walks into the cave. And so this is your character.
Okay.
And so your first run of the game is you like exploring this cursed temple that you found.
Okay.
And you know it's cursed because to open the door, you put your hand on it and it like latches onto you, or something latches you, and like your hand turns into this purple pink thing, and you use that to further traverse the temple.
Okay.
And so your first run, you're this guy running through, and the only way I can describe the game, like how the game operates, is Slay the Spire and Diablo had a baby. Because the way you traverse the map is like Slay the Spire. It is rooms branching off of each other.
Okay.
That, you go to one room and then you have to follow a path.
Okay.
But once you enter that room, it's top-down, isometric. You're controlling the guy and you're fighting through the room.
Okay, so kind of like how Enter the Gungeon, when you get into a room, it traps you until all the bad guys are dead. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so as you go through, there's undead creatures, like cursed things that are trapped here that you have to fight through. And you have 3 weapon slots. Your torch, which is always you can't have a weapon and your torch. It is always your torch or a weapon and something
like
else.
Old school Doom.
Yeah. So your torch illuminates the room, because you get there are some weapons and things that give you bonuses for being in illuminated areas, and there are braziers and other things that you can ignite, and they'll give you light so that you can whip out your weapons and beat the shit out of stuff. But so usually your main hand weapon is always a primary and a secondary.
Okay.
I figured out my favorites are a sword and a whip.
Okay.
whips give you amazing range, and they also have a stun ability, which works out really well. It's also fairly quick-paced combat. Like, you have to kind of know what you're doing, because there is a parry mechanic.
Okay.
There is a dodge mechanic, and there's a stamina mechanic.
Okay.
So
interesting. So we've got kind of a Soulsian,
a little bit
Soulsian, some vibes going.
But you get stamina if you do a parry. You'll regain stamina if you do a perfect dodge.
Okay.
Instead of costing you stamina, if you do a perfect dodge, it'll give it to you. And when you did it perfect, because it slows down. It's like, oh, you did an epic dodge. It's silly. Parrying is super satisfying, because you just click it and you shing, and it has that satisfying sound.
Yeah.
And then it also weakens the enemy, stuns them, and also lowers their resistances, and you can kill them faster.
Okay.
And but yeah, so as you traverse through the temple, every room you go through, you have to open a door with your cursed hand.
Okay.
And there's a mechanic in the game called curse.
Okay.
As you go through, there are some creatures in the temple that will raise your curse by hitting you with abilities.
Okay, I'm guessing more curse is bad.
More curse is bad. Well, usually bad. So when you break the threshold of curse, it's usually like 100 points of curse.
Mm-hmm.
You gain a curse, and some of them are like stupid debuffs. There's one that's hallucinations, where when you get hit, it turns into like an old sepia film grain kind of thing.
Okay.
But it takes away enemy health bars, it takes away your health bar, it takes away it takes away all of the
HUD.
The HUD and the pop-ups that you would use to gauge how the fight is going.
Yeah.
There's one that it takes away your ability to gain gold from the room.
Okay.
And that everything but everything is like, instead of gold, it's blood, and blood heals you. So some of them are pros and cons.
Yeah, like you'll be healed, but you'll never be able to buy anything because you have no gold.
Yeah. But but you can also, when you're doing shop things, you have two options. You can either pay for something in curse or pay for it in gold.
Okay.
So if you're all right with having the max amount of curses you can have is 5, and I've never gotten to the 5th one because it's red and it looks scary, and I don't want to deal with that nonsense. It's a danger zone of stuff. But yeah, if you have all, but I can see how if you have that many curses, it gets kind of ridiculous to play the game. It gets really hard.
Okay.
So they are meant to be difficulty modifiers as you go through. But you gain like 20 curse every time you go through a room. And they did add a deal where instead of picking up an item, you can have an option. Sometimes it happens, sometimes you don't get the option, but you always have an option to sacrifice an item to the gods. And when you sacrifice an item to the gods, it can give you it can regenerate your health, possibly, for like a percentage of your total health. It can give you a flat amount of gold, or it can take away some curse, or some I do believe it's called corruption. My bad.
Okay.
Corruption.
Still,
okay.
man,
it's
along
curse.
the same line.
Curse
thing.
corruption. Basically the same thing. But once it takes, but like, I was a little sad because I did realize I got to a point where I had dropped my corruption down so much that if I had sacrificed something, I could take it away.
You could be free of corruption.
But it doesn't.
Oh.
The only way to get rid of a set curse is to beat a boss on the floor.
Okay.
And they are like, it's obvious what floor is the boss. Like, you have no other options.
Okay, kind of like Slay the Spire. Like, you can tell there's a final floor that is the boss.
But unlike Slay the Spire, sometimes there's not just one boss.
You fight multiple bosses in one room?
Yeah, so you have multiple... So there are 3 temples total.
Okay.
And it's funny, because like there's a hub area that, you can go to the underworld and commune with the gods to get favor and all that stuff, get perks and shit. But once you go to the door and you're selecting your temple, it's a rotating door. And like once you select the temple, it stops on that door and it lights up, that color, and it'll let you go through. Yeah. Each temple has their own set of traps, bad guys, all of that. Different themes. But and once you decide on a temple, each temple has like, I don't know, 10 runs, maybe? Okay. 10 different expeditions is what they're called. Yeah. And they can range from short expeditions, which is like one boss, to medium expeditions, which is, I'm guessing, 2. Mm-hmm. I've never... Yeah, I have beaten a medium expedition. And then long ones, which are, more. Yeah. So you have multiple bosses you have to fight through to get to them. But every time you beat a boss, you lose a curse. It takes it away. Okay.
And I'm guessing like the whole point is that you're trying to get rid of all your curses.
Yes.
Okay.
My guess, the theme is that you are trying to rid the temple of the curse of the dead gods. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I thought it was really neat. It does control a bit weird sometimes because sometimes it's janky. Maybe I just suck at the game. That is always a lingering possibility. Yeah. But there are some times where I find myself just like, I do have to... It is one of those games where I will be playing and I will just have a bad run. Mm-hmm. And then it just sours my entire rest of the time. Yeah. Maybe that's just how I treat games. But and then it's just
like... That happens, though. Sometimes you have a really good run going and then, like, you don't just die. You, like, get brutalized, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very disheartening. And so you're like, well, maybe I should take a break.
Yeah. Well, and it can really happen because there is no interrupt in this game. Like if you see a bad guy winding up, hitting him isn't going to stop anything.
Okay.
You have to either dodge or parry. It's not something I'm really used to, because a lot of things these days have like an interrupt mechanic.
Yeah.
Where you can go and punch him and he'll be stunned.
Yeah.
Don't work like that. The dead don't care.
They continue on with their attack.
They will slap your shit no matter what. And it there are some times where I just keep missing the parries or I keep missing the dodges and I just get brutalized. And like, yeah, I don't die, but like I'm already significantly higher in corruption than I should be. Mm-hmm. I'm already much lower on health than I should be. I'm just like, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
But no, it is a really fun game. I picked it up a couple of years ago because I remember seeing it and I was like, oh, that's neat. And it's like a roguelite, and I love roguelites. I mean,
yeah. Okay, so did it like drop in early access and they've been like kind of working on it over time?
Mm-hmm. From what I've heard, I think when I got it, they had one temple open for you to do. So like, I think I left it because it didn't really have much to offer at the time. Mm-hmm. The combat was kind of brutal, like more so than it is currently. The corruption system was a bit broken. There was no way to reduce corruption at all. So like once you went through a door, that was it. Like there was no way to reduce the amount you got. Nothing like that.
Yeah. But
I think they've made pretty good progress on it so far. And I really enjoy it. It's really fun. I love roguelites. I think you would like it because it does have that Slay the Spire progression.
Okay.
It's just it is an action roguelite. You control the guy.
I play a lot of Enter the Gungeon and stuff like that. I'm used to action roguelikes, so
so I think you would enjoy it.
Okay, I'll definitely check it out.
Oh yeah, really fun, really good game, really nice art style. And that's Curse of the Dead Gods by Pastech Games, published by Focus Interactive.
Okay.
Good memory.
I know. I didn't even have to consult the tab. So that was our 3 games. We had Wilmot's Warehouse.
Yes.
For Erica, we had
Shoppe
Keep. That's right. I'm sorry. I know.
I take back the memory comment.
I know. My bad. No, I got so wrapped up in Curse of the Dead Gods by me. And so that's our 3 video games. And we're gonna move on to our board game, which was Gravwell.
Yes, and so this is Gravwell. The designer is Corey Young. The artist was Alejandro Gramanico Bennett. And the publisher is Cryptozoic Entertainment and Renegade Game Studios. This is tagged as a 1 to 4 player game, and it's supposed to take about 20 to 35 minutes to play.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't we heard Renegade Games Studios before? Were they the ones that did Trajan?
I think so, because I kept forgetting their name, and I was like, ooh, Renegade Games, that sounds really familiar.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's nice.
Well, there you go.
Hey! But no, I was told about this game by one of my coworkers. I was talking to him about the podcast and how we do about our system, and he was like, oh yeah, hey, there's this game called Gravwell that you should check out. It's a really fun game, a really simple game. Mm-hmm. And when you start playing it, it looks complicated, but as you go, actually it doesn't even really look complicated.
No, it looks like Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just like a circular map with
it's a spiral, a spiral map.
Yeah, it's like at passing glance the game looks really simple, but then you read the rules and it sounds really complicated.
Yeah.
But then in actual practical application, it's
pretty easy to play.
It is pretty easy to play. It's one of those ones where it's easy to start, but maybe there's a bit of nuance to it, hard to master kind of thing.
Yeah, so the premise is we are all starships stuck in a singularity.
Yep.
Or in the gravity well of a singularity.
Mm-hmm.
And we are expending fuel cards which dictate our movement. Right, because there's a number on the fuel card that says how many spaces you get to move.
Yes.
And the entire point is to get out of the gravity well, to the wormhole to get out.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because your movement is always dictated by what the closest gravity source is.
Yes.
And gravity sources are ships.
Yeah, your opponents.
Yeah, your opponents are dictating the direction you move. So if the closest person to you is behind you, guess what? You're moving backwards.
Yeah.
But like the order of which your movement is put out is based on the letter of the element that you're burning.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So like argon is going to burn before
Xenon or
before
something.
xenon or yttrium or whatever.
There were a whole bunch.
There are some wild elements that they threw out there that I'm like, that's not even fuel, but okay, I guess it is. I'm not that smart. But it was really neat. I know we got a full game going.
We had a full 4-player game when we played. And yeah, so I think it was really interesting, and it's very much a game where you have to think about what your opponent's going to play.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Nick's going to want to move forward, and I think he wants to do that before anyone else will. So he's going to play a really low letter or, first letter type of card.
Yeah, high letter card.
Yeah. So, yeah, like, how do you say that? So if I play one after him, he'll be the one closest to me, so then I'll move forward with him. And it's really interesting as far as thinking about what cards you have versus what your opponents have. Because picking the cards also is kind of draft-like at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, you put them all you draw so many cards of your elements for fuel, and you put them all out into like 9 different little stacks.
Yeah, one face down, one face up, and you see the top card that's just face up, and you claim that stack for yourself, and then it just goes around the table until all the stacks are gone.
Yeah.
And then you get to look at what you have, and there are other types of fuels. There's repulsor fuel, which pushes you away
from the
nearest gravity source.
Yeah.
So instead of burning regular fuel, which pulls you towards, you're pushing yourself away from it. Mm-hmm. There's also fuels like, what is it, tractor beam?
Tractor beam.
Yeah, it's like a tractor beam.
Tractor beam that instead of moving, you pull everything towards you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, no, you don't get to move forward.
Come back over here.
Yeah, it's like, I see that you moved that many spaces forward. How about you move 3 backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I thought it was really fun. And also you have to make sure that you're paying attention to who's ahead of you and who's behind you, and how far ahead and behind they are.
Yeah.
Because I can be like, oh yeah, 10 spaces. Crap, that's 10 spaces backwards. No. And then emergency stop.
Yeah, you do have one emergency stop you can use per round where you're like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going backwards. No.
But you got to
You're supposed to move before me, not after me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure you use it at the right time. That way.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you burn it the first card you play, then you might get slingshot backwards later on.
Anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there are abandoned ships, like ships whose crews have died already. They're derelict
ships. Yeah.
Yes.
And they are stuck at like points, about halfway points. Like they're at some milestone.
Yeah, at different intervals on the map. It's got specific spots that they spawn.
And they act as regular ships that will pull you or push you, or
and they react to the tractor beams and everything like that.
The same way.
They move around and they can cause issues.
Yeah, they can cause problems as well. But I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
Like quick game. It was really quick, even for us who don't read rule books. But
it took us a little bit, say.
Yeah.
So.
I think it was pretty quick the game itself isn't that complicated, right? I think what takes the longest is trying to decide, what is everyone else going to do this round? What card should I play?
Well, it's definitely the kind of thing like because with something we didn't mention about how all the fuel cards have numbers on them is that the number on them tends to change based on how far down the alphabet they are. So like the higher alphabet numbers, A, B, C, all tend to have lower movement value.
Yeah.
Like you play the A card, you're only going to move forward like 2 spots. But if you play like the plutonium card, which is way further down, it might move you like 7. So it's kind of a risk reward. Like, you got to make sure that you're in the back of the line before you throw down that 9 tile card.
Yeah, so that you can actually slingshot around more of your...
around everybody, so...
Yeah, and then also at the beginning when we first started the game, it seemed like for the first 2 rounds, we couldn't get away from the very beginning. Like, we were stuck.
We were all stuck because somebody couldn't manage to get... Well, and also, there is a deal where if you are stuck between... to like if you are equidistant between 2 gravity sources, you don't do anything.
You're stuck.
Well, it depends on how many ships are on either side of you.
So right. So if there's more ships behind you, then
you
you're
move
pulled
backwards.
Still. Yeah, but I think there can be an even number on either side of you.
Yeah,
right?
so when we had started a 3-player game that we had ended, so we can join the 4-player game. But in the 3-player game, there's 2 derelict ships, and then you have 2 opponents. So if you're in the middle of each of them,
you're
then
stuck.
You're not moving anywhere. You're stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of meh, but
that feeling. But I mean, I feel like overall, definitely a fantastic game. Happy to add it to the collection.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And it came down to the end. Like, it was down to
we
the
were all
because
like 5 squares from the end.
Well,
right?
yeah, and it's a good mechanic. Like, it's built around that because you are being pushed and pulled by your opponents, so you're going to end up around the same spot if you're playing smartly.
It's always down to the wire who's going to win,
well,
or it should always be down.
And the whole thing has to be down. Like leapfrog.
Yeah,
because there's no way you can't just break away into the lead. You know.
Yeah, because you have to be pushing away from someone or jumping towards them. Yeah, so you're always with everyone, and so it makes it really stressful at the end, where it's like everyone's like 2 or 3 spaces away from the end
from the wormhole. To get out.
And it's like, oh, what cards are we gonna play? Oh, we only have these cards. If you play first, and it's like, no, I have to play first. That way I can get there. And yeah.
Oh well,
but it was
really good.
It was a lot of fun. I really liked that game.
It may have been another notch on Erica's victory list, but
whatever.
She will be dethroned eventually.
That is how I won at the very end. I think I was like 4 spaces away, and there was more people. The closest person was in front of me. So I was like, I need to play a card that's going to get me there first. And I played like an H, and everyone else had
lower on the
lower, yeah. So I was able to get there first.
Yeah. Whatever. We don't need to talk about other games that Erica's won. It's just really depressing.
Whatever.
Anyway,
I don't want to look at the scoreboard.
But yeah.
So Gravwell or Gravwell, not Gravity. Gravwell.
Yes.
Awesome game. I honestly look forward to playing it more in the future. I know it is. We played with our older brother.
Yes.
And I think he like, it's not his normal like style of game, you know.
Yeah, but he even asked if we had brought it with us when we went to go visit him the other day.
Yeah, he was just super into it. He usually likes the longer table hog ones, and this was his cup of tea. He really enjoyed it, so I was glad. Like I said, it was.
Well, he likes games that make you think, and this one, it makes you
think about your opponents.
Yes, that's what he likes thinking about. He likes thinking about what are they going to do.
Yeah, he's all about how he can make the game harder for everyone else.
Yeah. And that's what since you are pushing and pulling your opponents, it's a perfect game.
Mm. But so yeah, Gravwell, wonderful addition.
Yes.
Well, that's it.
Yeah,
we're done.
I guess that's it for us for today.
We did it.
We did it. But yeah, so everybody had a good time with their games, and the board game was great.
Yes.
So
that's the end of our first all of us together.
Our live recording session.
Our live recording session, yes. So, yeah, it was a good time, and we hope to see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Toodles.